Before I begin this episode, this podcast would not be possible without the support of our sponsors. They've got behind me, so I hope you can get behind them. A big shout out to Velocity Frequent Flyer. Not only have they made this podcast and the book tour possible, they've helped me and millions of members turn everyday spending into flights, upgrades and rewards faster. Velocity makes it easy to earn points your way, whether you're booking flights, shopping or getting fuel. As one of Australia's largest loyalty programs with hundreds of partners, earning points and getting rewards could not be easier. Visit velocityfrequentflyer.com to find out more or click the link in the show notes. Thanks to Chemist Warehouse, your go-to destination for all things health and well-being, from essential vitamins and supplements to skincare and fitness products. Chemist Warehouse offers everything you need to stay balanced and healthy. Plus, they're committed to supporting your health journey with affordable, high-quality products. Visit chemistwarehouse.com.au to explore their extensive range and take your next step in your well-being. I want to thank DoorDash for their support and for making it so simple for me to get my favourite meals and groceries delivered straight to my door. With thousands of restaurants and shops to choose from, DoorDash helps you enjoy the food you love, whether it's a quick weeknight dinner or treating yourself on the weekend. Ordering is simple, delivery is fast, and there is something for everyone. Download the DoorDash app or visit DoorDash.com to get started and check the show notes for more information. Thank you to Oroton for helping to power this series. This spring, Oroton invites you to embrace freedom and personal style, a collection inspired by texture, touch, and meticulous details. Their crafted designs are timeless, encouraging a more intentional way of living and dressing. From their iconic handbags to their ready-to-wear collections, Oroton has shaped Australian style since 1938. Explore the collection in stores or online at oroton.com with complimentary shipping on orders over $200. Welcome to Mental as Anyone. I'm your host, JMO, and in this series we explore mental health, the battles, the triumphs and the strategies to deal with mental health in a healthy way.
For me in my recovery, it's been the greatest support to have someone go, I hear you and I know what you're saying because I've been through something similar.
I'm the first to know that's not easy, having battled on my own journey. Now, I'll be speaking with others who are ready to share their own insights and lessons. This podcast is specifically designed to support you on your own journey. So join me as we learn together that we are mental as anyone.
But I think in retrospect, and as an adult, you realize that everyone's going through their own version of what you're going through.
This is a man that I have a lot of respect for. He's a friend. He's been a bit of a mentor in this mental health space. Broadcaster, legend, best mates with Hugh Jackman. It's Gus Worland, everybody.
Great to see you, mate. Lovely to see you. You're looking well.
Founded Gotcha for Life, which is something that I'm deeply aligned with. Been nagging at him to make me an ambassador for the charity.
Can we make it official now that you're an ambassador for Gotcha for Life?
Please. I mean, I advocate for you guys anyway.
I know you do. Thank you.
I feel like I'm an honorary one.
You
anyway, the book Mental as Anyone it's here. So you've written the foreword very kindly for it, and I remember a couple of years ago we sat down at a cafe and I said, mate, I want to get this book published and I want to do something with Gotcha. And I want it to be, it's not about money because you don't make money selling books, but it's about awareness and letting people know. So at every event that I do and everything that I do, I talk about Gotcha for Life. Can you give the spiel? Gotcha for Life is what?
Yeah, so took me a little while to be brave enough to talk about a friend of mine that took his own life. And I was about 6 years into doing breakfast radio at Triple M on a very blokey show that very rarely spoke about anything other than giving away concert tickets, movie tickets, sport, and Matty Johns was on there. So he was telling jokes all the time. And one morning I went, you know what? I want to talk about something that is sort of not our normal topic. And I spoke about my friend who took his own life on the day that his third and final child finished their HSC. And I had worked for him. He was my mentor. He was a real father figure to me. My dad had left the family home when I was young, and this bloke took over that role. And it absolutely shattered me. And it shattered everyone because he was the least likely to do something like that, or that's what we thought. And I spoke about it one morning. 8 o'clock in the morning, and for the next 90 minutes on Triple M, which you know is a very blokey station that would very rarely be vulnerable, we had people ringing up saying, me too. This is what happened to me, a bloke at the footy club, a guy, a lady at the netball club, my sister, my auntie, whatever it might be. We didn't play another song, traffic report, or an ad break for 90 minutes. And we just took one call after another. And I went home to my wife and I said, just on our small little show, we've got all these people worrying alone. And I had no idea. So I was able to do the show Man Up on the ABC, which really challenged masculinity. And I knew then that my work was going to be in this field, because it wasn't a job. It wasn't hosting a TV show and let's get paid for it. It was like, gee, let's make some real impact. So Gotcha for Life started, and we're 9 years in now, $23 million raised, and we give that money to people that work in suicide prevention. So anyone that works in prevention of suicide, we want to try to support. We lose 7 blokes a day every day, 2 women every day. 9 Aussies that woke up this morning won't wake up tomorrow morning. And I don't want to live in an Aussie like that. And on top of it, a stat that people very rarely talk about is that every 8 minutes someone attempts in this country. So we want to be on the front foot to try to get those stats back down to 0.
It's a busy market. And I mean that because it's not a market, but it's a busy field, the mental health space. And there's a lot of people trying to help. Probably some might say almost too busy.
I feel we're all in our silos a little bit too much as well. When I go to functions and stuff, I always go across to, in fact, we're working at the moment with Are You OK Day, and I do a lot of work for them. I feel like there's some places are doing great work in research. Some people like Lifeline are doing great at the crisis point, and they're bringing out new ways of doing that. I think we're in the forefront of the preventative space, but the more the merrier in my eyes, because something that we're doing may not quite click with someone, but someone else doing something might click with them. So as long as there's an option out there for people, that's the most important bit. But you're right, it is busy, and I suppose that's why certain people get financed by the government and some people don't. And if you're not financed by the government, you are quite a bit behind the 8 ball, and we don't get government funding, not at the moment anyway.
Right. And as you said, as many people that are talking about it as possible is a good thing, but talking is one step, and it's actually about what do we do next and how do we take that further. And that's why with this podcast, we like to talk about strategies, and we like to talk about things that people can do. In actuality, there's something that you did and you do it. It's your shtick, so to speak. When every time I go to a lunch that you do for Gotcha for Life, you tell everyone to get their phones out. Yeah. And you tell them to get their phones out and find someone in your phone and text them.
Yeah. Send them a simple text. I love you. I miss you. See you soon. Kiss, hug, kiss, hug. And people sort of go, oh God. And I go, if a bloke's about to send that to another bloke, you'll probably get a phone call in the next 30 seconds. It's because we don't have enough of those vulnerable conversations. And it's not too full on, that particular text, but it does make you think it's a little different to how most people talk to each other. So it just starts a conversation. And if someone does ring you or come back and say, are you drunk? Was this message for me? What's this all about? You can say, well, I was asked to think of the people I love and you're one of them, and use that opportunity, that opening, to go a little bit deeper. Doesn't mean we burst into tears every 5 minutes, but to have a slightly deeper conversation outside of banter, I think is super important, especially for the people that you love and you do anything for. We need to have more of those convos, because when people talk to me, they say they're pretty lonely and they haven't got the emotional muscle to actually ask people for help. And I want to really change that. That's why we're doing more in primary schools now, because we need to turn those emotional muscles on for the little ones so they're better off as we get a bit older.
Why are blokes taking their life more than women?
Yeah, 75% is men. Like I said, 7 men and 2 women. I think it's sort of man up, shut up. It's sort of take a teaspoon of cement. We've been told all our lives that just get on with it. You see it in every TV show. You see it in the movies, on ads on TV, these big blokes that handle everything and so forth. We're told by blokes now in their 20s, 30s and 40s that their emotional tap is turned off at kindy, first grade, second grade, in the playground at primary school. And what they feel when someone has a crack at them by being human and showing some emotion, they never want to feel that again, whether it's shame or embarrassment or whatever it might be. So they shut it off and go, I'm never going to go there again. And then, of course, it's the old school way of just manning up. It stops us being open enough to talk about the stuff that's important to us. And girls, as a general rule, are better at discussing things and getting stuff out there. But in saying that, mate, you know, we lose 2 women a day, but out of the people that attempt, about 75% of those are women. So it's a problem right across our society.
It's when you ask a friend, how are you? And they say, yeah, I'm good. But you say, but how are you? How is your mental health? It's not just how are you? It's drilling down and saying, how are you going? Mother's Day recently, it's a time of year for me, having lost my mum many years ago, that is a difficult day for me. My friends that have lost their mums, I ring them and say, hey, how are you? How are you really? What are you doing for self-care today?
Yeah.
What do you need? That's the stuff I think is really important too, to sort of go, how do you go forward?
A little bit deeper. Well, I mean, you know this stuff because you've been studying it now for years and it's important to you, but most of us don't. Most of us would go, I'm not going to ring my mate who lost his mum because I don't want to put him on the spot. I don't want to embarrass him. I don't want him to have to come up with what I'm doing today. So that's the completely opposite of what most people will tell you is what they want. When people have lost someone to suicide, the family that is left, people don't know how to talk to them. So we've got stories of mums and dads walking along the street, they've lost their son, and someone they're normally friendly with, they see them and they cross the road because they don't want to have that awkward conversation because we don't know how to have it. So we have to start getting better at having these uncomfortable conversations. And the only way we'll do that is by learning how to have them. And that's what Gotcha for Life is all about, is giving people those skills.
I'm actually disgusting and I try and make people laugh in those situations. I don't avoid them. I say really inappropriate, deliberately inappropriate things.
They'd prefer that than someone crossing the road, believe me.
I'm going to tell you this. I'll probably get cancelled for saying it. A girlfriend of mine's mother has been very sick with cancer and she has had it on her mouth. And I was like, oh, at least you'll save on lipstick.
Oh, dear.
Am I going to be cancelled for saying that?
No, because it's coming from a good place. And
I was trying to make her laugh.
Of course. Like, and you know the girl and you know the mum, right? So there's that synergy there, and they probably look at you and go, well, that's what we need from him. There'll be other friends that'll be a little bit more traditional, but you're the one that's going to just sort of, you know, make everyone laugh or attempt to and stuff. And I think we need that village. We need all those different personalities.
Because if you have a laugh, then you can open that door and then talk more about how you're feeling and feel more vulnerable.
Yeah. It's the starting is the difficult bit.
I feel like, you know, on the spectrum of life, people would say I'm probably more on the woke side, even though I'm woke is more aligned with a Karen in my head now than politically or anything like that. But anyway, they would probably say that. But I feel like blaming people as woke and weak and things like that is actually quite dangerous in a mental health space. And I haven't thought about this before, but when you were talking before, it made me think that, because if you dismiss something as other, or you dismiss it as less than, if you dismiss woke as not valid, and woke is just a word, yeah, I think it's quite dangerous.
It is. Being curious is the only way that we should look at life, I believe. And I've been guilty myself probably before I started thinking about mental fitness and man up and then Gotcha for Life. I was probably less curious. I was a bit more old school because that's the way that I was brought up. And I went to a school that was, you know, very sort of, you know, boaters and blazers and all that sort of stuff. But as soon as I became curious, I became a better person. I became a better husband, a better father, and a better mate to my village, no doubt. And I've tried to do that with my work at Channel 9 and Triple M as well, is if you're curious, you're more open to understanding what other people are going through. And that's the problem we have, I believe, in this world, is that if you believe this is the way it is, then you're really barking up the wrong tree, because we've all got our own journey. I've known you for years. I had no idea about your mum. You shared that. You were vulnerable with me and the listeners a couple of minutes ago. So I will now remember that. And when something comes up, I will check in with you. I will send you a text. I will have a laugh with you.
I'm going to hold you that. And if you don't, I'm going to be like, oh, bloody hell.
It'll be before 10:30 in the morning, I promise you, because my mum takes over from about 10:30 on Mother's Day. But no, it's you showing vulnerability allows me to get to know you better, which maybe allow me to be a better friend, all that sort of stuff. we have got to start opening up more and seeing that as a positive rather than, oh, I'm just sort of getting my dirty laundry out. Dirty laundry means nothing if you like someone or you love someone. You want to know this stuff so you can help them, and we've just got to get better at that. And I think we are. I think your generation and the generation behind you are better than certainly me and my dad and so forth. So we are getting better.
I think something that I hear often is I really dig when people talk to me about their mental health, and that's part of because of, as you said, who I am and why I think and the way I think and the work that I do in this space. But a lot of people I hear, often I'll get off the phone or walk away from a meeting, a coffee, a friend catch up, and they'll message me later and go, I'm so sorry, I didn't even ask about you, or they were like, I'm sorry for burdening you. And I'm like, absolutely not. I was asking you. I wanted to know. You needed that support at that time, and I was there for you. If I had something to say, I would have said, yeah, I'm struggling with blah too. And yeah, if it was a relationship that was only one-sided at all times, but, sometimes as friends, we need to just go, yeah, I'm going to pack that on my shoulders for my friend to let them speak.
Bloody oath. Yeah, two ears, one mouth. So that's the ratio we really should be using, which is hard for us because we're both in the communication game and we like to talk and we feel that we can be useful as someone that can communicate. But yeah, there's times where I'm with my kids and it's just, shut up, Gus. Listen to your child. They don't need anything other than just to get this out of their melon. And my wife very much the same. And that's the one big change in our marriage is I've become a much better listener. Whereas as soon as she had something that I seemed to be a problem, I was trying to problem solve it, which means that I wasn't really listening to what she was telling me, which was, I can solve this myself, brother. In fact, I'm much smarter than you, which is true in our case, but just needed to get it out. I just need to get all this blah, blah, blah out of my head, and I need to shout and scream, and I don't need you to do anything but just to listen, and I need to be felt that you're listening correctly and you're not bothered by the telly or checking your phone every 2 minutes.
How do your bloke mates respond when you're perceived now probably more as a sensitive dude? Yeah,
I've always worn my heart on my sleeve. They've understood that, but mates have been, what would be the best way to describe it? Certain mates straight onto it, love it, love what you're doing. This is what I've wanted from you. Others still look at me a little bit like, okay, mate, like I just want to talk about the footy. I just want to go for a beer. We had a trivia night the other night down at our local pub, and one of our mates was going through some stuff. So I dragged him away from the table and we sat outside for 5. We missed a whole section of the quiz. Come back in, they go, mate, it's quiz night. Like, we're not going to win now because, it wasn't me. It was the bloke I took out. It's the smart one. So they're joking about it, but sort of not joking about it. There's time and a place for a few of my mates to go, hey, we're just going to have a night where we're just bantering tonight. So it's for me to also know that I need a little bit of time off from the emotional stuff too. I just need a night of banter too.
It can be tough. While I say that it's good to listen and pack your shoulders, sometimes you're just like, holy shit, that is heavy. And I find a lot of people reach out to me that I don't know necessarily, and they're like, I relate to this or I relate to that. And I'm like, wow, I really want to help you and I want to be there for you. But that's a heavy load for me to carry. And sometimes I have to say to people, look, I care. I genuinely care. And I want you to have someone around you that's there for you. But I'm dealing with my own shit.
I haven't got the capacity. That's the hardest thing. I was talking to Lane Beachley the other day, who some of your listeners hopefully would know as she was
legend.
Sort of a legend woman surfer, 7-time world champion. She said, it's hell yes or fuck no. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, if I decide to do something, I'm all in. If I decide not to do something, which as people pleasers, we find hard to say no. As soon as you say no, don't let it burden you. Just let it go because you're going to work on the stuff that you're going to do. I find that really, really difficult. And people pleasers and someone like you, because people read your stuff every day. So they feel as if they know you and they might be burdening you with stuff and they're actually not that good a friend or whatever. And you're like, God, I've only got the capacity for my village plus myself and my family. I haven't got capacity for someone that you met at a party that you probably had a really good time with, but they're not your bestie. So that's that difficulty. But like you say, let them know, I'll hear you. I can't help, but perhaps someone else can. But that's a difficult conversation because we want to help.
I always try and just find out who is around you. I think that's a really nice thing to try or a good step.
Who's your village?
Who's your village? Who's there for you? Do you have anyone? What do you do if they say they've got no one?
Yeah, that's the most difficult conversation. So that for me, then I have a directory of people that are professionals, and depending on what area, what state they're in, because I get about 1,000 messages a day on Messenger. So you don't have to be a friend with someone to get a Messenger message. I get those through and they're saying, can you help me? Can you help me? So I've got a standard thing that comes out because I can't read them all at the time. And then I go, right, what do they need? If it's professional help because they haven't got anyone, then I've got someone in each state and area that has basically come to me and said, hey, if there's anyone that's come to you that needs help, give them my number, because the bloody waiting lists are so big. It's expensive. So that's huge barriers and hurdles for people to get the help that they need. So I'm very lucky that I've got that directory of people that I can call upon. And sometimes I've got a mate of mine who's been 20 years Lifeline. He's in his 70s. He's actually the granddad for the Telstra ads. He's like the best looking granddad out there. He's an absolute champion. His name's Paul Jones. We call him Rocket. Rocket just FaceTimes them if they're interstate. And a conversation with Rocket is just like a hot chockey and a nice little blankie on a winter's night. He's just a bloody champ, and he's just on a retainer at Gotcha, and I must put 20 people a month to him on top of all the other stuff that he does. And
that's so nice.
He helps. He's a champ. So if someone's out there and needs a bit of love, get hold of me, and I'll give you.
And he's hot as well.
Yeah, can
I have his number?
Yeah, he might be a little old for you, I reckon.
That's all right. Age is just a number. I'm a lot older than I look. I'm really excited to share something very special with you. You know, I've always been open about my personal struggles, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. And now I've put it all into my book, Mental as Anyone. It's raw, it's real, and full of the lessons I've learned, alongside some expert wisdom from Dr. Jodie Lowinger to help you navigate your own mental health journey. The book hits shelves in all good bookstores nationally on June 25, but you can pre-order it right now on Amazon. The link is in the show notes. This book means the absolute world to me. I hope it helps you too. Your own mental health, we spoke about your mate that tragically took his life that started this journey for you 9 years ago. Have you had any deep bouts of depression?
Definitely. I reckon when I was a 38-year-old salesman, ended up doing some TV shows, and then ended up on breakfast radio on Triple M, my first radio show ever. And I was like, oh, my wife and family are over in England. For the next couple of years, I really battled seeing itself up on a billboard, on a bus. And I thought I was just like Christmas. And I forgot completely who I am and my family and stuff. Not completely, but I certainly I was drifting away from the person that I think I am. And I had some real difficulties. And I was brave enough to talk to a friend of mine. We went to the Pimble pub. We had 2 beers and a snitty. And he goes, you should see my counsellor. And I looked at him like, what are you talking about? You've got a counsellor? He goes, yeah. And I go, why wouldn't you tell me that? And he goes, well, we sort of don't talk about that stuff. Anyway, Leanne is her name. I saw her for the last time last week. Told 2 people since then that have now booked with Leanne. She's 4 foot wide, 4 foot tall, mad Greek lady who's very spiritual. She's got like frizzy hair, married with a couple of boys, and she is terrific. And I always walk out of there feeling so much lighter. So every time it all becomes a bit of a burden, but she certainly saved me making some poor decisions back in the day and put me on a path that has allowed me to be who I am now. I think we all need people like that. Like we need a mechanic, a dentist, a doctor. For me, having someone that I can just get it all out to has been an absolute key for me.
Something that is deeply concerning for me at the moment, for my own situation, but for people around the world, is costs of mental health support. It's really tough.
It's a huge hurdle for a lot of people.
And as you said, accessing mental health facilities and help is also difficult. The waiting lists are so long, and all of those things. So, I mean, this is not just a crisis. This is a catastrophe.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And it's all around the world. Like, as you know, I've done some TED Talks. It's the same everywhere. People say the same thing to me, which is why Gotcha for Life's gone down the path of prevention. Like, we've got this mental fitness gym, which is an app now. It was a website for years, but now it's an app and it's free and it will always be free. And it's hopefully giving people the skills every day by being on this app that allows them to never get to the point where they get into crisis. That's really what prevention is all about. So that's the path that we've gone down, and giving kids a backpack of all the feels so they can feel the feels and never get to the stage where they have to phone Lifeline. I remember hosting the Lifeline straight after COVID at a black tie, we're opening back up again type of situation. And I said, I hope all of you are out of a job in the next 5 years. And they all laughed and they knew what I meant, because we really want to get to the stage where we're not opening up more and more centres and so forth. We want to be seeing those numbers of calls decline. But that's going to take time and effort, because at the moment everyone's under the pump. But our little bit at Gotcha for Life is about getting to people when their mental fitness is still okay and making that stronger and building that village and talking to people so they never get to the stage where suicide becomes an option.
So that's something that someone can do, is they can tap into those.
Yeah, it's completely free. Mental fitness gym.
What's in a mental fitness gym?
Right. It's exercise. It's a bit like a normal gym. And
I hate exercise. I'm so not. Look, I'm not as gymmy as I look.
There's no physical exercise.
Phew. Right.
This is the emotional.
You scared the shit out of me.
This is the emotional muscle.
Right.
Which is the one that tends to stop us doing stuff that we should do, or gets us to do stuff that we shouldn't do. That little thing in your brain that goes, nah, let's go and do this instead. That muscle we need to work at. So, everyone talks about journaling. That's a well-known one. Breathing, not having your phone next to you when you wake up, having some water. There's all that type of stuff that's out there and most people know. But every single day, if you join the mental fitness gym, it gives you another little skill. Gives you another little exercise to be able to work on. And everyone I think about 10,000 people are in it now. We've only been open about a month. Everyone tells us that it's very, very helpful.
I just keep thinking of like push-ups and stuff like that, but it's kind of cute in a way that's a mental health way.
Yeah. Well, you're actually probably a personal trainer in a mental fitness gym with the work that you're doing, the book you've written, this particular podcast, how caring you are in terms of your writing now, all that stuff. You're probably someone that is a PT.
Right.
And probably
never thought of myself in that way, but hopefully I'll get a few more Instagram followers, and I won't be getting my shirt off on Instagram. On this podcast, I get a lot of questions.
Never say never, mate.
I get a lot of questions from people about why I have celebrities or prominent people on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And my answer to that is that if everyday people can relate to the people that they seemingly idolize, having the same issues as them, that it'll make life less scary.
Yeah. You're not alone. Really what it comes down to. If I look at someone that I look up to and admire, and it may not be a celebrity, but it might be someone that is a mentor, I go, gee, if they're going through that, then it's okay for me to go through that. And I suppose that's where you come from. And plus, you live in a celebrity world. You go to parties most nights where there are people that are well-known or influencers. So they're sort of your village to a certain degree. And no doubt you've got your own personal love village too, but that's who you sort of hang out with. Whereas I always feel when I talk to people that they think they're the only ones that have these problems.
Yeah.
And it's just simply not true. As soon as you open your mouth and say, I'm going through blah, 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 someone will go, you know what? I went through that and this is what helped me. Or I'm going through that at the moment. Have you got any advice? And all of a sudden, as human beings, we're all helping each other. The worst thing you can do is to worry alone.
Yeah. The book, as we've mentioned a couple of times, Mental as Anyone, a toolkit
Great
for
name,
surviving and thriving on this roller coaster of life. It's basically, you introduced me to Jodie Lowinger, Dr. Jodie Lowinger, who's been on the podcast, and I've written my memoir components, and she's written the, I guess, the toolkit bits that is like, well, if you're relating to this is what's next.
It's a brilliantly done how you've done it, because it gives you your emotional side, your vulnerability, and then you've literally got like the expert there that can sort of explain it all and so forth. That's why there's no other book out there like it. So well done to you, mate. I remember when you first talked about it and you had all these notes and you had all these ideas and you weren't quite sure how to do it, and then bang.
It just happened.
Yeah.
And I'm
overnight success, right?
It's taken decades to be an overnight success.
Exactly.
And then everyone's like, "What's your next book?" And I'm like, "Hell no, there ain't no next book.
Whoa.
This is it." So I'm just going to enjoy this.
You never
for the
know.
moment.
10,000 to be a bestseller.
And what does success look like? I'm my own. What does success?
Someone will
look
come up to you at some stage and say, "I bought your book. I wasn't sure what it was about, but I got it, and it saved my life." And that's the moment where you'll go, "That's the reason I wrote the book."
And I've had that with this podcast. I actually had it this morning from someone who's quite famous that I saw, and I bumped into them and they said, "Your podcast is amazing. Thank you so much. I listened to this episode," and I just bawled my eyes out. And I was like, wow.
That's the moment, right? You think about, downloads.
This was a bloke who I wouldn't have thought would be.
Yeah. And he's got vulnerable with you, was able to explain that. You saved him. And no way when you started this podcast were you thinking that. So that's the moment. And that's where I think if you take ego and all that out, you go, that's the key to it. And that'll be the same thing with your book. And that's why you'll write another one. And that's why there'll be something else down the track at the moment you don't even know about yet.
Nightmare.
Yeah, but you'll learn lessons from it. It'll be easier because you'll have a success behind you, so you'll have more help.
It's a lot.
All that stuff will just trickle away, and the book and the podcast can run really nicely, sort of side by side.
What's next for you?
More Gotcha for Life stuff. I'm doing more stuff in America. I'm going in June. I'm doing two keynotes, one in Boston, one in New York. Really pumping out the mental fitness gym, because that's something on an app that people from all around the world can get. And also just down there to Canberra and say, please, keep giving $20 million to the big guns, the Beyond Blues and so forth. I get it. But can you leave a little bit for the little tackers out there that are doing their best and working in that preventative space? And that's what I'm going to dedicate my life to now, until at some stage, I'm 56, so probably got another 5 or so of energy, and then a little bit of time off with my wife and enjoying maybe being a grandfather. I got 2 out of 3 kids are in relationships at the moment, so you never know. Once I'm in my 60s, wherever that'll be, with my wife, just enjoying a little bit of downtime, because you can't keep planning to have downtime. You never know. I've been sick, as you know, the last couple of months, completely out of the blue. So I don't want to take anything for granted and plan it out too much.
We finish every episode with where's your mental health at today? And I know you're a little bit anxious because you've got a procedure tomorrow at the doctor's. 0 to 10.
I would call myself at the moment about a 6, and that would worry me because I text my friends every few weeks, what's your number out of 10? If it's anything under a 7, I phone them and I try to get a bit more detail, like you said earlier, unpack for me. But it's because of the procedure, and also my wife's away at the moment, so I'm a little bit all over the shop. She's with son and daughter in London. Her sister's there at the moment, so she's doing that trip. And I'm rudderless. I'm fucking rudderless.
She is a good egg.
She's a good egg, and she just is so good at making sure that I'm on point, and I'm a bit rudderless at the moment. So, 6 out of 10. What about you? What are you?
I'm probably an 8 today.
That's great.
Yeah, I feel good.
How's your headache? Because you came in with a headache.
I have a headache. So other than that, if I didn't have a headache, I'd be a 9.
Awesome.
I'm good. Life's good. I'm lucky. I'm alive, and I'm grateful.
Yep. And you've got a lot to be grateful
Filled with
for.
Gratitude. So, and I'm really glad that you've been in here. Well, that's us done for another episode of Mental as Anyone. Gus Worland, thank you for writing the foreword on my book, Mental as Anyone. And, we look forward to more journeys with you.
Bloody oath, mate. Thanks for having me.
Thanks to Chemist Warehouse, your go-to destination for all things health and well-being, from essential vitamins and supplements to skincare and fitness products. Chemist Warehouse offers everything you need to stay balanced and healthy. Plus, they're committed to supporting your health journey with affordable, high-quality products. Visit chemistwarehouse.com.au to explore their extensive range and take your next step in your well-being. A big shout out to Velocity Frequent Flyer. Not only have they made this podcast and the book tour possible, they've helped me and millions of members turn everyday spending into flights, upgrades, and rewards faster. Velocity makes it easy to earn points your way, whether you're booking flights, shopping, or getting fuel. As one of Australia's largest loyalty programs with hundreds of partners, earning points and getting rewards could not be easier. Visit velocityfrequentflyer.com to find out more or click the link in the show notes. Thank you to Oroton for helping to power this series. This spring, Oroton invites you to embrace freedom and personal style, a collection inspired by texture, touch, and meticulous details. Their crafted designs are timeless, encouraging a more intentional way of living and dressing. From their iconic handbags to their ready-to-wear collections, Oroton has shaped Australian style since 1938. Explore the collection in stores or online at oroton.com with complimentary shipping on orders over $200. I want to thank DoorDash for their support and for making it so simple for me to get my favourite meals and groceries delivered straight to my door. With thousands of restaurants and shops to choose from, DoorDash helps you enjoy the food you love, whether it's a quick weeknight dinner or treating yourself on the weekend. Ordering is simple, delivery is fast, and there is something for everyone. Download the DoorDash app or visit DoorDash.com to get started and check the show notes for more information. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Mental as Anyone. There's been some heavy insights in there, but also some useful tools for all of us to move forward. If you want to be the first to hear new episodes, be sure to hit follow. And if you find yourself in need of support, links to Lifeline, Beyond Blue, and the Black Dog Institute are in the show notes below. See you later.